Welcome to the Church Solutions Podcast, brought to you by JSL Solutions. The Church Solutions Podcast is designed to help equip you and your church in the use of technology and other tools and services. And now, here are your hosts, Steve Lacy and Phil Thompson.
Hello, everybody. Easy for you to say. Let's try that again. Take two. Hello, everybody. My name is Phil Thompson.
And I'm Steve Lacy.
And this is the Church Solutions Podcast, proof that we don't edit anything out, including my mispronunciations and mistakes. It's great to have everybody here. Thanks for being with us today. We do this podcast usually every week. We are a company called JSL Solutions, and our mission, our vision is to help enable churches to use technology to reach people, to fulfill their vision and to fulfill their purpose. And we talk a lot about technology. We talk about other things related to church volunteers and leadership and all that stuff. Steve, very quickly, what does JSL Solutions provide?
So JSL Solutions has been around for 14 years now?
2001. 2001,
yes. So we provide four main products now. StreamingChurch.tv for live streaming, Church App Live, which is a mobile app geared for ministry, myflock.com, which is a website and church management system, one of the first cloud-based church management systems. And we just introduced, is it last week?
Officially last week, I think we introduced
Greeter.church, which we will provide a professional greeter for your church website.
Greeter.church. I want to emphasize that again. I know we talked about this last week, but if you want to look it up, just type in on your browser, Greeter.church. And that's the church is the, what do you call that? A high-level domain now, the name church?
Yeah, top-level domain.
Top level, okay. So you have .coms, you have .orgs, you have .nets, and you have a lot of other things now, including .church.
Yes.
So sometime we should probably talk about domain names on this podcast and help churches, understand what's out
Hopefully,
there.
Hopefully, as soon as the .church came out, most churches should have been aggressively pursuing their church's domain name in the .church world.
Yeah, I think it's still hard for people to get used to.
I think so. Yeah,
the .com is so common. But so we're going to talk about using technology to re-engage millennials today. But very quickly, we do want to remind people that the church, the Greeter.church, it's hard for me to get that right. Greeter.church, the new product we have, is available for free right now.
Yes.
And all it is you go to Greeter.church, you create an account, we give you a little code that you can copy and paste into the footer of your website. And then it's a little, what it is, it's a, how would you describe it? It's when people go to the website.
So when people go to the website, there'll be an online greeter available to answer any questions or consult with or talk to so it's
so people can look at the website, and if they have questions, there's a little box in the corner that says, hey, I have a question. And if it's during regular business hours.
Right. Right now, yes, during United States regular business hours.
United States, have to emphasize that.
So it's the kind of thing you see when you go to the big company sites. They'll have a little chat with us thing.
Yeah, and we've got several churches using it. We use it on our main websites all the time. We use if you go to StreamingChurch.tv or myflock.com or churchapplive.com and now Greeter.church, you'll see it there, and you can ask questions. And we won't bug you or whatever. Right. You can ask a question. And if by chance we're not online because it may be off business hours, you can still type in a question, and then we get the email with your question, and then we can respond.
Right.
And so this is now opened up for churches. Yep. We're opening this up for churches. It's free right now to the end of the year.
Right.
And you can try it and see if you like it. And it's really a nice little deal. And there's just a little form you fill out, talking about what you believe, who you are, what denomination you are, so that the person answering those questions, they'll have access to that information. Right. And if they don't have access to something, they can always say, hey, we'll get right back to you, whoever you are, that's asking. And then, the person that's in charge of your church information or whatever, secretary or administrative assistant, they can get that email and respond. So a cool little thing.
Yeah, it creates a personal experience for people visiting your website as opposed to an impersonal experience.
Because as we've said, chances are more people are going to visit your church website than will your church, as far as newer people, during the week.
That is true.
And probably during the year. I mean, there's going to be people looking at your website before they come to visit you. So we've talked about that before. If you have questions about that, send us an email, support@greeter.church.
That works.
All right, got it right. Okay, so on to our subject today, technology to re-engage millennials. So millennials, this is it's a little sketchy, but most experts, whoever those people are, will tell you that this millennial generation, or what they call millennials, are usually born about 1981 or after 1981 through 1986. So that's supposedly
81 to 86 or 81 to 96?
1981 to 1996.
Yes.
What did I say?
You said 81 to 86.
Oh, no, that'd be only 5 years. No, that wouldn't be right. So, so 1981, people born between the years 1981 through 1996, many of these people are calling them millennials.
Right.
And that involves current 20-somethings.
Right.
And so some of these we got some stats here from Barna Group, and Barna says that this group, millennials, are the least religiously active age group. And there's an overall 43% drop-off in church engagement, especially for the 18 to 29 age group. So this research, again, done by Barna, which is pretty good. They do pretty good research. They also show that 61% of Protestant Christians between the ages of 18 and 29 say that they have dropped out of attending church after going on a regular basis. So pretty interesting stats there. Mm-hmm. So I'll just keep going down these stats here. And they also say that nearly 100% of the 61% of millennials who have dropped out of church are still looking to engage spiritually with God, the Bible, and other Christians. So in other words, even though they maybe have dropped out of church or don't attend church on a regular basis, it doesn't mean they're done with Christianity.
Right.
Doesn't mean they're done with God. Doesn't mean they're done with the Bible. It just means that they're not attending church.
Right. So we're going to, ties into our topic, re-engaging these guys through technology. So
I would say that, and I'm very much involved in my church. You're involved in yours. I would say that if you're involved in your church, especially as a key volunteer or a leader or, obviously on staff, you should probably consider, okay, how can we get these people back?
And
how can we connect with these millennials?
What's interesting, I know at my church, and I think it's probably pretty common with all other churches as well, this is a demographic that you definitely want to reach. People will design their services and their outreach and everything around this, young adult age, the 18 to 29, or even the under 40 crowd.
Sure,
because they're wanting to reach that crowd.
Right. Yeah, we've done kind of a study at my church, and we've determined that we have about 15% or 16% that attend our services on a regular basis are under 45. And so I actually did that.
That's probably not uncommon though at all.
Yeah, we're obviously we want to reach younger people too, but we're trying to figure out how to do that. So we have some answers here, or at least we have some potential answers for that.
Right.
Let me throw a few things out. There's another company, Pixel, I guess, Piksel. I'm not familiar with them, but they recently surveyed 500 individuals throughout the United States to determine how people are connecting and worshiping in today's society. So the results confirm the general trend. Nearly a third of Christians who seek spiritual engagement online feel more connected to their physical church. So this is kind of what we're building up to today, is that you should consider putting content online.
Yes, providing an online avenue.
Yeah. And let me just go on here a little bit, and we'll get into some practical do's and don'ts here, I guess. Okay. So the bottom line is, it's not just enough to just have a website. I mean, we've talked about websites. You need to make sure your website's up to date, and you need to keep it current and all that, and try to keep it stylish, because I think you and I have finally come to the conclusion that websites are kind of like dress pattern, or what is it, dress styles today. The fashion industry.
Oh,
As much as we don't like it,
change
maybe
and yes,
fashion changes in the clothing industry, and it's the same with websites.
yeah.
They are maybe not as fast, but there are changes in the styles of websites
Oh,
today.
definitely.
We're
So
up.
I was just going to point out that I guess I'm a little bit of an authority here because I have 4 children that are all millennials.
Yeah.
They're all fall into this age range.
Mhm.
And just from personal experience talking to them, if you were to say, I'm going to take things away from you, for example, or what is the most important thing to you, where they're at right now. And what's odd is when I was their age, TV was up there on the list,
Mhm.
and my kids have no need for a TV, no need for a cable subscription.
Yeah.
They're interested in some live sports, but not interested. TV.
Mhm.
It's just
Okay.
it's passe. But
Right.
what they do engage with is all video through their computer,
Yeah.
or just through their computer. That is the primary. That's the last
Yeah.
thing they'd want to lose if they were having to get on a
So if you
sinking
threaten
ship,
to take the TV away, they would say, "Go for it."
or
I don't
they're
care.
like, I don't care.
Yeah.
Or, yeah,
Well, my son's born in 1998, and he fits in that same pattern you just mentioned.
right.
Everything he watches is video online.
Yeah,
Either the
like my
computer or
son
Xbox.
just moved into an apartment at the
Yeah.
on campus, and they don't have cable TV. He's like,
Yeah.
why do I need cable TV?
Right.
So I've got my computer. If there's something I want to watch,
Yeah.
I'll pull it up on Netflix. And
Well, my son's, he'll watch Roku stuff that's on the Roku
yeah,
box. He'll watch that. So yeah, so I think that's the trend that's happening today. So yeah, so websites are good. You definitely need to have that, but it appears that the millennials, they might look for the service. They might look at your website for service times,
right.
maybe some ministry information, but more often than not, they're looking for content. They're looking for blogs. They're looking for podcasts, images, all with spiritual insight and information. Um, and particularly, they're looking at video. So let's talk a little bit about that, then. So that we've kind of made the case here. 45% of millennial Christians are looking to find spiritual engagement in videos on the internet. So
Yeah, actually, not 45, 54.
54, yeah. I got it backwards.
Yes.
Am I, what's that word, dyslexic? Is that what it is?
Yes.
So
Dyslexic.
54% are looking for find spiritual engagement on videos and content. So here's a few observations on the use of digital technology within the industry that we're all in here, faith industry, and how we can make the most of it at our churches and your church. So
Number one.
Yeah, number one
is basically use this technology in your church services.
So you should really, you should use it in your church, you should use digital technology as much as possible in your church services. And there's several things I've listed here. There's probably a lot more, but one of the ways you could do this is video announcements.
Mm-hmm.
Announcements, as I've banged on this drum for a long time, announcements are like one of the most miserable experiences that I've seen in churches. You might have a great sermon, might even have some great music, but the announcements can sometimes be very painful. Most people don't know how to do announcements, and we've covered a podcast on that in the past.
And people can get, what's interesting, you can get really clever to really spice up announcements if you have the ability to do video and do some retakes and create a little scene of, either what costume or props or things like that.
Yeah. And by the way, let's just say this, because I know there's some people listening to this podcast right now. Maybe you're a pastor, maybe you're an associate pastor, maybe you're a volunteer, and you're saying to yourself, I'm just overworked here. Okay, when we talk about video, you don't necessarily have to do it every weekend, but at least start to do it a little bit more. Let me give you some tips on videos here. it's easy now to do a video. If you have a smartphone, if you have an iPhone, if you have an Android phone, you can shoot a video in a matter of a few minutes. Put a little bit of thought into it, and just check your lighting, make sure your audio is good, and you can use your smartphone to record a video. In fact, when I was working at your church, Steve, I did this every week with your senior pastor. We set up a video for it. We didn't do a video announcements, although I know you guys
We're doing
do that.
video
You do that
announcements
now,
yeah. And they're being
But-
really clever with them.
But we were doing, but we were doing video just to kind of like on a Monday to say, hey, hope you enjoyed Sunday's message. If not, catch it online. Here's what we talked about, and here's what's happening.
Right,
And we did it in about 2 minutes.
Little teaser about what's going on.
Yeah, and so, and it was easy to do. I literally did it with my iPhone. And again, I said this earlier, but make sure your lighting's good, make sure your audio is good, and just shoot it with your iPhone. You can upload it to YouTube and then stick it somewhere on your website, on your Facebook page. So it's really not that hard to do. Just put a little bit of thought into it, and you can start using this. And then you can do stuff. You could play stuff during the service too. You can use you could use video illustrations, which that's nothing new. Many churches have been doing this for years and years. I know, your church, when I worked at it 20 years ago, we were starting to do video announcements, or not video announcements, but video clips during the message.
Right.
At the movies is now a popular thing for many churches. We're doing that ourselves. So use it in your church services. Use digital technology. And again, we're keeping in mind what we're talking about here is reaching and re-engaging millennials, that younger crowd. Yes, you've got older people in your church. They may not be turned on by it. They may not be that excited about it. But I think you could still pull it off because, you care about those older folks, but you also want to reach the younger generation. And using digital video during your services, either pre-service, and I've got a list here. I don't know if you want to jump on some of these or not, but pre-service stuff.
Number 3 on your list is mobile app.
Yeah, mobile app's another way you can engage and use video, not just video, but digital technology using a mobile app. So, you can do pre-service videos or run videos after the service on the screen. So when people are wrapping up, saying hello and goodbye to people, there can be some stuff running in the background. But mobile apps are a great tool now. And we actually do provide mobile apps. We've mentioned at the very beginning, churchapplive.com, but there's other mobile apps out there. Ours is very interactive, so you can do some real-time polls with people using the app. They can do church check-in.
Yeah.
They can do. You could
follow
even
along with the teaching notes from the app.
Yeah.
So
you could put your bulletin material in the app.
Right.
You could, newsletter stuff. You can, it's something that your church has done. I don't know if you guys still do. I don't know. We've done it a few times. The virtual pastor question, where the pastor says, "Hey, I got a question for you. We're going to talk today about Christmas. What are some of your favorite Christmas memories?" And people could text in. They don't even have to have an app to do that. They can just text a number in, and and then you can read the pastor, or somebody can get him those responses, and he can read it at the end of his message.
So the next one on our list is mastering the medium as well as the message. What does that mean? Well,
okay, so I speak. I was a senior pastor for about 8 years, but before that I was an executive pastor, and I would speak occasionally. And now I'm a part-time executive pastor on the weekends for this small church, about 100 people. And I speak about once a month or so. But I can tell you this, that, if you take it seriously as far as speaking, delivering messages, which I do, and every pastor I know does, you put a lot of time and you put a lot of effort into your message. You give it some thought, you give it some consideration, you work on it hard to try to make it so that it's going to, accomplish your goal, reach people, connect people, keep them entertained, but also give them some spiritual encouragement and challenge them. Okay. So
most people are doing that.
Yeah,
and doing a good job with that.
And I think, pastors work hard to do that.
So that's the message part of this, right?
So you want to master the medium as well as the message. And when I say medium, I'm talking about the online medium.
Right.
I'm talking about, social networking, which is a large part of what we're talking about here in this next section, but also, making sure that your website's got the right stuff on it and easy to find and all that. So master the medium as well as the message. So I'm talking about Facebook.
Right. So there's a lot of people out there. There's probably a lot of people out there that aren't real comfortable with this. I've been preaching for 40 years and I got the message down, but this newfangled, internet stuff is not my forte.
Right.
So, I mean, you want to, even if you don't personally master that, you want to bring somebody online that has that skill set and recognize that it is as important as the message that you're putting together.
Well, I think it's very close, and the reason I say it's very close to being as important is because, you just think of it this way, if you can get, even if you're using snippets of your message, and, we can talk about streaming video, which is what we do and all that later, but anything that you're doing, you're getting it out there and you're no longer contained by the four walls of your church. Mm-hmm. You're getting it outside of that, and you're getting it what's called the World Wide Web. And that's really what it is. People can get to it all over the world and do. We've had that experiences not only with our company, but with our churches, people watching us or responding or interacting from, China and Middle East and all that stuff. So the point is, Facebook, again, we've talked about this on other podcasts. Facebook seems to be a pretty good place for churches to be. Get your own Facebook page. Right. Twitter can be good.
And be active.
Instagram's coming up too. Instagram's got some great tools in it you can use. So we want to just encourage you, which is why we do these podcasts, is, step out a little more. And if you're doing this, great. Maybe do it a little bit more. Mm-hmm. And as you said, Steve, there's got to be people in your church that, if you're not willing to do it as a leader, just don't feel comfortable or you're too busy, delegate it, to somebody else.
Right. That you trust and delegate it as though, this was a critical special skill. So make sure it's, just go, not an afterthought, but
put some energy into it, and again, you probably have to have some guidelines and things. It's going to take, anything you do is going to take some energy to get it started, right? And again, I feel for people in ministry because I know you're overworked and one more thing I got to do. But if you can get it going and get somebody involved or a couple people involved, you're good.
Some pastors that have like a very active blog, and I just found out this week that the genesis behind it is one of their kids.
Oh yeah,
they're the primary ones making sure it's happening and getting the thing posted and stuff. So,
and again, we're talking on this podcast today about re-engaging millennials.
Right.
That's the whole purpose here, and it's not just millennials. I know older people that are watching on social media now and Facebook and all that, but we're trying to re-engage these people, and here's one of the ways you can do it. Get on social media, post your online audio archives. Mm-hmm. Not really hard to do these days. We can help you with that if you have questions. Blogging, you just mentioned blogging. Blogging's a great tool. And again, you don't have to write a book. Right. You can just even write a paragraph or two if it's something that's...
Or even shorter.
You could even put a video on your blog today. Right. There's all sorts of tools out there. I mentioned this one. This is kind of new to a lot of people. Periscope. Uh-huh. Periscope is actually, how would you describe it? I probably should have. Streaming.
Mobile phone live streaming.
Yeah.
And I know we've been connected with a lot of different pastors through our business/ministry, but I know one pastor in, I believe it's Idaho, that's just really aggressively gone the Periscope route. Okay. And it's been kind of exciting to watch. So Periscope allows you to download the app on your phone and take live streaming video from wherever you're at. Right. And it will announce to other Periscope users or those that are following you that, hey, this guy's broadcasting live right now. And he's building a new facility. So he's walking out with a construction crew and Periscope Live his new, the building of the facility.
It's very mobile.
Yes.
And it's actually Twitter bought it out, right? Was it? It's is it
No,
an
Twitter.
offshoot of Twitter? No,
No,
I'm
Twitter.
confused.
Actually, Twitter developed it in response to Meerkat.
Okay, that's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah, Meerkat kind of started the trend, and Periscope's its similar Twitter's version.
Yeah, I think we talked about this a couple months ago. I downloaded Periscope on my phone, and I decided I'm going to walk my dog, and I turned Periscope on and streamed my walk with my dog, and I had 10 people who I have no idea who they are following me and watching me, watching my dog lift its leg, on a tree, but it was kind of interesting. And I was on for about probably 10 or 15 minutes, just streaming the thing, walking outside with my dog. So Periscope has potential. We'll probably do a podcast one of these days on Periscope. We might even Periscope this, what we're doing right now, right? Okay, so we got about 2 or 3 minutes left here. Sum it up. The internet is the new media, and video is its backbone. So what we're getting at here is, we mentioned this at the very beginning of the podcast, millennials are looking for content, and video is a big, big part of what they're looking for.
Right.
So you could do streaming video. Obviously, we are a company that does streaming video. You could do video on your own and post it on YouTube. You could do a lot of things with video and make video the content of these things we just mentioned, from your blog to your website to Twitter to Facebook. You can do video on all those things.
Right.
And it's a content that really is what this millennial generation is looking for. So it's easier than ever to reach people. We're in an age now, if you're trying to reach people with the good news of the gospel, you've got a great avenue here. It's the internet, and everybody's on it.
So create some video, be authentic in your video, and millennials will be attracted or begin to follow.
I think so. And even the millennials that you do have going to your church, it will help them even engage more.
Yeah. Help them do their own form of evangelism with their
it really will. And so it's a great platform. So, we're at the end of 2015 with this podcast we're doing. We're in December now. But, 2016's just a few weeks away. Consider this as maybe an agenda, as a goal for 2016, to maybe re-engage some millennials by using some of these things we talked about. Mm-hmm. I think it will help your church. Yeah, some of the old timers may not be crazy about it, but I think if you can express the message and the vision of trying to reach the younger group, I think many of them will go along with that if you explain it right. So, anyhow, that's my take on it. So. Yeah. All right. Well, we hope that we've helped you a little bit with this. Hope that we've brought some encouragement. Some of this could be a little overwhelming to you. You know what? If you need help with any of this stuff or you have questions about it, just send us an email. We've got lots of email addresses out there because we have lots of products now. But support at StreamingChurch.tv would be a good way to get a hold of us. You can always go to our website, any one of our 4 websites, StreamingChurch.tv, ChurchAppLive.com. myflock.com, greeter.church, and you can always leave a message there, or maybe one of us will be monitoring the website, and you can use the chat and chat to us on there. So check us out on iTunes. Check us out on any podcast. What did we say last week? You can just do a
favorite
search.
Podcast app. Search for Church Solutions Podcast, and you'll find us. Yeah. Chances are you already have found us. But tell your friends that we're available anywhere better podcasts are played. There you go. Exactly. Nicely done. And as usual, we're always open to feedback on these things too. So let us know what you think. Maybe you like it. Maybe you don't. Maybe you think we're crazy. And that's okay. We probably are crazy. All right. We're done. He's Steve Lacy. I'm Phil Thompson. We hope you have a great day, a great week. We'll catch you next time on another edition of the Church Solutions Podcast.